Hello and welcome to the breakdown. I'm Adrian Clarke. Thanks for joining me on my channel. I'm smiling on the outside, but inside I'm feeling absolutely miserable. I'm sure that Gooners the world over are feeling exactly the same. At the moment, hugely disappointing performance, I thought, against Manchester United. Not the result we were looking for, 3-2 defeat. And of course, those 3 points would have taken us 7 points clear. We are now just 4 points clear at the top of the table. You know, first world problems and all that, but this wasn't a great performance. And it is the first time, isn't it, in 121 matches, a run stretching back all the way to December 2023 against Luton in some crazy game where we won 4-3 at Luton, who, by the way, are in the third tier of English football now. That was the last time that Arsenal conceded 3 goals in any match. So, and it cost us in this particular game. Didn't work at the back. Didn't work going forwards. I mean, in terms of summarising the game, I actually thought first 20 we played well. We were on the front foot. We pinned United in. We caused them problems. The 3 players with the most touches after 20 minutes were Rice, Saka and Trossard. That's what you want. You don't want it to be Saliba. You don't want it to be Gabriel, Timber, all these guys. You want the forwards on the ball. And we got them on the ball and we did cause them problems. But then we eased off and we got sloppy. And we gave Manchester United encouragement to come at us. And as soon as they stepped on us, we started to make mistakes. And we were edgy. And then the longer the game got on, I thought that we were getting too safe with our possession. We were too jittery. Need a bit of courage to play the forward pass, to be a bit braver, to take a dribble on. But risk-taking was in short supply. And as a result, our final third play was a bit predictable. And it certainly wasn't fluid. And in open play, we created very, very little, didn't we? And really, we defended pretty poorly as well. And I think that's probably the best place to start in terms of the goals that Arsenal conceded in this match. So let's break it down, starting with goal number 1, the equaliser from Brian and Burbo. Come at a terrible time. We've just gone 1-0 up in the ascendancy, and bang, they're back on level terms. And this is what happened. Right, let's start it here. Rice gives the ball to Zubimendi. The build-up's really slow at the back, but Rice gives it to him, and he says, "Give it me back," through that little hole in midfield. You see the red arrow? That's the pass I think he should make. Rice makes the run. He should play that pass. The second best pass is if he opens his body up and goes to Jurriën Timber and we build down the right. Instead, Zubimendi plays it mega safe and turns inside and goes to William Saliba. As we wind it on, I've circled here, it's a 4v2. Look, we've got the 2 defenders there and 4 black shirts. The 2 in midfield are ready to step on. It's not a place to be fiddling about with the ball. We want to go longer. He has to go longer there. It's just no option. You either switch it, you go into the front play, you go out wide to Saka. That is the percentage pass. But he doesn't do it. He goes back to Zubimendi, and it's a poor pass. It's a really overhit pass to his right foot. And he's off balance as he strikes that ball. And here, as you look, again, I think he can open up his body, take a touch, give it to Timber, open up his body, take a touch, give it to Saka down the line. I don't know why Saliba was looking for a 1-2 there. I think that was a very unnecessarily risky manoeuvre. And it all encompassed in Zubimendi making a bad decision, a bad contact on the ball. And to his credit, Brian and Burmo raced on and finished it really, really nicely, didn't he? He took it around the keeper. But it's an absolute gift. And of course, that's a few gifts that we've given teams lately. Gabriel Magalhaes, that poor pass against Brentford. Obviously, we got away with it. We won that game, but that was an individual error. Earlier on in the season, Zubimendi made an error that led to Spurs' goal. These are the kind of mistakes that we weren't really making in the last 2 or 3 seasons. We were very controlled and error-free. So we've got to try and cut that out if we can moving forwards. Right, let's take a look at the second goal. Again, terrible timing early on in the second half. It wasn't great. It was one of the goals of the season, for sure, in terms of the strike from Patrick Dorgu. We can argue about whether it was handball or not till we're blue in the face. I thought it was at the time. I can see the argument that it might not have hit his arm. It doesn't really matter. It's gone now. They're not gonna change that decision. So we have to accept it. And I think the best thing to do is look at how he got into space, how Manchester United bypassed our midfield and got into that big avenue of space between the defence and the midfield, which was a little bit alarming, really. So let's have a look at the build-up, shall we? Starting here. Maguire feeds it into Dorgu, and at the time, right back there, I've circled him. Timber has Dorgu. He's followed. He's tight to him, right behind him. But out of the corner of his eye, he sees a really positive run from Luke Shaw, an overlap there down that left hand side, and it distracts Timber, and that's all it needs. He moves right. Saka can't screen it. You see Saliba's tight with Bruno Fernandes, and it opens up a lovely little hole for Dorgu to take the touch on the inside, which he does really, really superbly. As we wind it on, Saliba has allowed Bruno to get involved. He hasn't followed him in. Whether that's a mistake or not, we can all make our own assessments there. But he stays put, and then of course they play through our midfield. Our midfield's stretched, and they pop it around us, and it was disappointing the way that they did pop it around us. And then as we wind it on again, I would still look at Saliba and say he's had quite a lot of time here as he's watched the play build up. He's looked at Bruno. Linking the play, he hasn't gone tight, and he's still stayed really on the edge of his own box. And I think he should have got a little bit tighter to Dorgu. Whether he gets close enough to make the block, who knows? But for me, he was a bit passive there, William Saliba. But the key moment was Timber being distracted to his right hand side, which allows Dorgu to come on the inside. The ball's ahead, our midfield's ahead of play. They're stretched. And yeah, they shouldn't allow, Zubimendi and Rice shouldn't allow United to pop the ball in between. But again, I think Saliba needs to squeeze up there and congest the space. It's too big a gap. Now, goal number 3 for Manchester United is really, really similar. I don't know if you realise this at the time, but I want to walk you through this because they're echoes of the goal that I've just explained. So let's start here. They get the ball. Bruno's got the ball. And I've circled here. It's Ben White. He's playing at right back now. He's with Cunha. Cunha's moved to the left. Sesko's up front. And Cunha, exactly as Dorgu did, has drifted into that central little pocket. So what do we do here? Okay, well, there's another overlap. Bruno Fernandes gives it and goes and makes a positive run. And there you see with the arrow, White gets drawn to it. He just gets distracted by Bruno and he's worried about him being free. And he makes the move to the right. And Cunha, this time, has pulled off of Saliba too far. A little bit like Bruno did before. And he can take that touch on the inside. So again, it's the right back getting distracted by an overlap, which is credit United. And then the centre-backs being a little bit too deep. So he takes his touch on the inside. And then I'm looking at Gabriel Magalhaes here. Inside the D. Okay, he's got a bit of thinking time here. What do you do? I've got the red arrow there to say, can he make that run? Can he get really tight and put him off here? He doesn't, unfortunately. He doesn't barely move, as you can see as we wind it on. And Cunha takes the shot. And then in goal, I've circled David Raya. Because at that point, this is the point of contact where he makes the shot. David Raya steps to his right. Look at the balance of David Raya's body there. He's just stepped to his right. And that was fatal because, he might not have saved it anyway. But it makes the save much, much harder, doesn't it? So, yeah, look, 2 goals of the season contenders for Manchester United. 3 really good finishes. But in terms of our defending, we were opened up a little bit too easily. And there are areas to look at and to make sure that we don't see that replicated because other teams will maybe look to copy that moving forwards. In terms of our goals, I don't think there's a great deal to analyse, if I'm honest. Obviously, with the Saka plays a really good part in our first goal. I love the little sort of dinky pass in between players for Ødegaard, who prods it towards goal. And Timber's there. I don't know what he's doing there, but he does enough to put off Martinez. There's not a great deal to break down there. The Marino one, it's scrappy, isn't it? I do want to show you this image though because it's unreal, really. Here we go. This is the corner from Saka. There are 16 players in the 6-yard box. Unbelievable. Plus Ben White, as you'll see, he's been bundled off the pitch. So he's not even involved. Quite remarkable, really. Difficult for the goalkeeper there. Really, really difficult. And obviously Marino prods it in, and we couldn't defend. We couldn't go. We wanted at that time, of course, to step on the gas and go and score and get a winner. It was Manchester United that got that winner through Cunha, of course. So. Yeah, in terms of our play, in terms of other things that I spotted from this game, for me, I don't know how many games running now, but it's too many. It's really since Calafiori's been out of the side, injured. we haven't had enough come down the left-hand side at all. At the start of this game, Trossard was lively. I think that he was bright and breezy at the start of the game. But ultimately, there was really no end product coming down the right-hand side. I want to show you from Opta Analyst our key pass map from this match. And it tells a story, really. Here we go. Look, almost everything in terms of key passes is to the right of centre. One's a corner on the left. Trossard's a square pass from the wing. The other one is Saka when he moves to the left. So that really is quite important, I think, that we find a better balance in our attacking play. Let's flip it to all of our successful passes over the course of this match. And again, look at the right quadrant. So we're kicking from left to right here, of course. Look at the right side. Get into some great areas by the touchline. Lots going on. Look at the left. It's really just a handful of moments from Trossard and Saka where we get into dangerous areas. And as we wind it onto another one from Opta Analyst, is our shot map. Well, again, all to the right of centre. Obviously, some of the plays come from the left. But look, just that one shot that was blocked from Declan Rice from the left-hand side. Now, we've got to be better. We have to find more balance. And we need a left footer on that side. Maybe that was why Mikel Arteta switched Saka to the left when he brought on Madueke. Who knows? But without Calafiori there, with Timber or Hincapié or whoever's over there, it's not as dynamic, and we're not getting into those areas because we know that Trossard wants to chop back onto his right foot as well a lot of the time. Not always, but a lot of the time. Trossard did fade, didn't he, after a really bright start to the game. He didn't really offer a lot beyond 20 minutes. But yeah, there you get an indication of our right side bias. Hopefully Calafiori's return will alleviate that and we can start to raid down that side and make more penetration a lot more often. The other observation for me was the midfield. I was a bit disappointed with our central midfield in the game. We've seen some of the off-the-ball work where we got bypassed. I thought on the ball as well, just not enough bravery, just too much sideways stuff and not enough dynamism where you get the ball forward and you drive and you look to hurt the opposition. I'm going to let Declan Rice off the hook because he wanted the ball a lot of the time and he was trying to be the driver. It didn't all come off for him, but I think his effort was there. But with the other guys, it was just a real off night. So what I've got here from Opta Analyst is successful passes for Zubimendi, Ødegaard and for Eza. Because Eza obviously had quite a long time on the pitch after he came on. And here you can see it. And really, and we're kicking from left to right here. And what really the standout for me is just two passes going to the box. One from Ødegaard and one from Eza. Nothing from Zubimendi goes forward into the box. And really, it's a lot of safe sideways passes in and around the halfway line. It's almost like there's a force field about 30, 35 yards out from goal where we don't play it forward. And that, I think, is something that's frustrating a lot of people at the moment, probably myself included. So can we be a bit braver? Can we be a bit more dynamic with our distribution? I'd say also with the structure, the way we're playing at the moment, Saliba's coming very high in the build-up. And I would question whether we need him. I mean, he's a lovely passer. He made 3 chances in this game, William Saliba. But could we get Timber? I want to show you, this is his successful passes map, just to give you an idea. Look how high he is a lot of the time. Do we need him there? Or can Timber play those passes and maybe we have Ødegaard or Eza or Marino, etc., where Timber is in that sort of inside right channel, causing more problems, being more of a goal threat? I think so, if I'm honest. I know a lot of the time Timber will be the trigger. He'll make the run forward in order to free up Saliba to be the spare man. I get that that's part of our play, but I think sometimes having Timber so high, it negates the threat of our attacking midfielders. So again, is that something we can work on moving forwards? I hope so. Right, let's go to player ratings, shall we? Look away now. If you're an Arsenal player, they're not going to be particularly good. Let's start with David Raya as always. I'm going to give him a 6. He didn't actually have loads to do. I don't think he could have done much about the goals. That little step to the right for the Cunha one was a minor thing, but he did okay. Timber 5, like you say, he got distracted for that goal. He didn't offer anything on the left. wasn't quite his usual dynamic self. William Saliba, I'm also going to give a 5 to. I thought, he did some good stuff on the ball, some nice passes, but I highlighted some of the mistakes that he made. I thought he was a bit passive. He looked a bit jittery. I think the same can be said for Gabriel. He gave the ball away a bit more than normal in this game. Gabriel Magalhaes wasn't his usual dominant self, so he's a 5 as well. Hincapié, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to instead give him a 6. It was his ball, of course, in to the far post that helped us score the first goal. He didn't get forward loads, but he did offer a bit more balance down that side, and it was a shame that he couldn't last longer on the pitch. Zubimendi, I'm going to go for a 4. I think it was a real off day with the ball and without the ball. Didn't do enough with the ball, and they played around him too easily, and obviously it's a massive mistake. It's a huge error for that first goal. So he gets a 4. Rice is a 6. He ran 1 kilometre further than the next most Arsenal player. So, he put a lot of effort in, 4 key passes. He won possession more often than any Gooner as well, with 6 regains. So he gets a 6 for me. Ødegaard's a 4. Disappointing. Didn't impact the game. I still wouldn't have taken him off as early as we did, but I'd have maybe given him a little bit longer. But he was below par. He wasn't the dynamo that we need him to be. Saka's going to be main man for me, 7. He was the only one really dribbling with authority. He was good for the goal, that little dinky pass to Ødegaard. He got plenty of shots away. He was really trying to make something happen. He set up 3 chances as well. Look, he wasn't amazing, Saka, but I think he was Arsenal's most dangerous player for sure. So I'm going to give him a 7. Jesus, 6. I thought he was fine. I thought he did pretty well. He got a lot of touches. He was involved in the game, but he just, he got hooked a little bit early for me. That quadruple substitution felt maybe a little bit premature as far as Jesus is concerned. But anyway, he obviously didn't score. He didn't make a big impact, but he was okay. Trossard, I'll give a 5 to. I think he started the game really brightly, but didn't offer enough the longer it went on. And he was a bit of a passenger for a while. We get to the subs. I'm going to say Merino was the best of the subs, 6 for me. 3 shots he had. 1 was handballed, wasn't it, by Harry Maguire. You've seen those given. Scored the goal. 3 interceptions. I thought he did all right. He shook things up a little bit going forward. White, 5. Obviously got a bit of stick from the crowd for taking his time on throws. Let's not beat him up over that. But he wasn't great when he came on. There's a 5. I was disappointed with how safe he was. I just wanted him to dribble, go and take someone on and go and make something happen. Didn't commit defenders. Always took the safer option, and that was frustrating because he's such a good player, such a brilliant player. Gyökeres, I'll go 5. Worked hard, was a handful, but no real end product from him. And Madueke, 5. Again, he really tried hard to add some impetus and some drive, but you've got to have end product at the end of it, and on this occasion he didn't. So quite harsh ratings really, but I'm sure you're probably along similar lines. I think you are anyway. But good to hear. Make sure you let me know in your comments if you think I've got any of them right or wrong. I always like to read your comments, so please do get involved. As for Mikel Arteta, I don't think it was his best night. The 4 substitutions at once, it was decisive, and you can't accuse him of sitting on his hands. But I don't know, it didn't really work. It was almost like too much at once, and it didn't have the desired impact. I'm afraid that can happen if you make wholesale changes like that. And he couldn't really find a way to sort of stop United from creating those opportunities that they took the most of. And he couldn't get the players to be more dynamic and be more positive. It sort of ambled along all the way to the end. There's just too much of reliance, isn't there, at the moment on set pieces. So, I think it's one for the manager where you look back and think, right, I might do things differently if I had a go again. But look, we've got to go again, haven't we, against Leeds on Saturday, isn't it? Leeds United, huge game. Looking forward to it. It's a big fixture, of course, and we have to win. The pressure's on now, and we need a big performance. We need to be better on the ball. First up, though, of course, it'll be Kairat Almaty in the Champions League. I'm expecting big changes, so there should be a few new faces to talk about when I return on Thursday to break down that particular match. So, disappointing one today, but we move on. Look, we're still top of the Champions League. We're in both domestic cups, and we're 4 points clear at the top of the table. It's not the end of the world, but this was a disappointing display. From me, it's bye for now.